shoot.
Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. It is Masters Week. Andy, happy birthday. It's Andy's birthday today, and it's Masters Week. You really could not ask for anything better right now in the world. Well, we got opening day this week for baseball. We have national championship going on tonight in basketball. And anyway, it being Andy's birthday, I said,
this is my birthday. This is what I asked for my birthday.
Masters, like, you can invite anyone on you want, anyone in the world that would talk Masters with us. Who would you want to involve? And luckily enough, he asked for Link Calhoun, who I had already invited to be on the show. So it worked out perfectly. This is a long time coming. We've been friends with Link going on 4 or 5 years.
I think well past friends. We're family.
So without further ado, Mr. @Calhoun Link, formerly @Link Calhoun on Twitter. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hi, Internet. What's up, guys? Happy birthday, dude. That's cool.
Yes, live from Texas. I'm wearing this. I hate Houston Astros with a passion. Baseball is like the only sport I actually have any fandom left. I like my Twins a little bit, despite
how not
bad they are.
Not a Correa fan, right?
Well, I like Correa now, just like I liked Marwin last year. Like now he's wearing the right colors. Like it's. I guess I'm trying to make an analogy with like Bloods and Crips. That doesn't really work. You don't get to switch gangs all that often, but it does happen in baseball from time to time. So Correa is now, he's wearing the right jersey. He's on my squad. Twins are a little iffy this year, but I will wear this Houston.
It's a sharp cap. It is. I mean,
Cal mailed it to me.
Cal is, of course, a noted Astros influencer. Noted. Yeah, he's your DFS tout. He's your advantage player.
Yes.
And in general, just a very funny and interesting guy. How did you first get into golf betting and golf DFS? And I guess at this stage in your life, as a sports fan, has golf just kind of taken over? And it's everything now from a betting standpoint of view.
I see golf so much more clearly than others. I see it more clearly than any other sport. And I bet you guys know about everything. It's just I found a lane, a niche, and just hit it running. Never picked up a club in my life. Like, I'll go to Topgolf and smack them around, but you get me on it. I've never played sober like a full 18 in my life. I wouldn't know what club to use. But I enjoy the stats. I enjoy, what really took me in was the odds, right? They're long as hell. It's what I like. I like hitting big shots. And doing pretty well at it.
I can attest to that. I've been to a Topgolf with Cal. He's pretty bad. Like he's bad at golfing. Like it would take some. I think you're just a natural athlete. You're a natural athlete though. Like you just need some lessons. You just need a little time at the club.
But to kind of summarize what you're saying, it's the big score that gets you going. The first hitting the first round leader, hitting the overall title winner. It's the big score. It's okay. I got it. None of this betting 50-50 markets with a 2% edge bullshit. We want the big scores. We want the big scores. Okay.
That's not my lane. I need the big scores. My first bet ever, it was just a solo bullet. I think it was JB Holmes at Houston. I was there. Just picked his name, really. One single bullet he hit. He was 120 to 1. I don't know what year was that. And then from there, I was like, well, yeah, this is better than hitting a side in an NFL game or, some over in a basketball game. Let's get paid on it. And then
that's what I was going to ask was like, how long have you actually been just gambling with sport? Because I know you've been gambling for life, but like sports betting in general, like did you just
forever
fire that up like in high school?
Oh gosh, yeah. Before that, I come from a long family of riverboat gamblers. Grandmother taught me how to play cards. Jim Romy. I'll associate probably everything with poker because that's my background. But yeah, Dad taught me how to be a gambler. bankroll management. Then I fell in love with poker and did very, very well there online, just crushing, like enough to like live off of. And the goal was to be pro poker. That was kind of my end game. And then Black Friday happened, which is like a week away. You know, I was treating Full Tilt and Poker Stars like a checking account, right? And then you go wake up one day and you're like, all right, let's play some poker and maybe take some out, and you get the DOJ, your accounts are frozen, and there's like 80% of my bankroll that I've been building up, you know, for all these times. And, you know, just kind of shake that off and find a different path and do that. And then always had the itch to gamble. And yeah, so I started using my poker skills with DFS, which they are very similar. And, you know, taking chances, getting it in, knowing what's a good edge.
Well, it's been, was 2006 Black Friday?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds right. I didn't know you celebrated the anniversary.
It was a long
Well,
time
I
ago,
don't,
man.
but like it's like losing like a family member. Like I'll never forget
Yeah,
going to
dude,
the screen and seeing the department just shutting it down. And like, well, who am I going to call support? And I didn't see some of the money back for probably 2 to 3 years. Did not get it all. Played over at UB. I don't think I saw a cent from those crooks.
I definitely didn't lose anything in that moment, but the shock and the people that I knew that did was enough to be like, I can't really take this seriously.
No,
like there's like you can't do this professionally in the US if your outs were over, or in the Caribbean, basically. You're like,
for sure. And it was just kind of a wake up call, like, and a book could just take your money, right? But
yeah.
That being said, I've never not got paid from an offshore.
Yeah.
That's very clear.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever
betting back in the day offshores. Always.
We've all gotten slow rolled. Like it's been, like, hey, this check is coming, and it used to be way worse. But I remember, it's funny. Like I have Black Friday memories, and my Black Friday was like well after the fact, where somebody told me about it because I was just sporadically doing it. Like I got into party poker, I'd say like 2003, 2004, just because I lived with some friends who were into it, and like
was that the money maker era?
Yeah, I mean it was fun, and you could do those little sit goes, and it didn't cost you a ton of money. And like I remember I had money in like an account when it went Black Friday, but it was like $60 or something. It was just like, well, I guess that's gone. I'm like, I'll log in and check, and then it's like, no, that's Moneymaker
was 03. If you want to keep going down, if you want to keep going down memory lane, I'm an old man moment today when I realized that this is the 25th anniversary of Tiger's first Masters win.
Yeah, I watched the video
this week. 25th
really
anniversary, for Christ's sakes. And honestly, like to pivot the conversation back to golf a little bit, like there are 2 ages of golf.
Mm-hmm.
As for those of us who are adults and care about golf, there was before Tiger and then after Tiger, and everything kind of started really that 25 years ago when he won the Masters. It was such a sea change. Like, holy shit! Like, this is a real athlete who is dominating the best players in the world on the toughest course in the world. Like, this is real. This is real. Yes, it was so cool to see. I remember it like it was yesterday. First time I've ever cared about golf.
I don't have that Tiger love that most people do. I wasn't in. I never got to bet with them, and I wouldn't bet them if I knew what I knew now, even though I'd get wiped. Never had that moment. Tiger actually probably made more money fading him late in his career. That's not going to be a popular take, but speaking of, what are they laying Tiger at right now?
50s. I mean, he was last week about 100. Like this was a real big problem when I sat down with the data guys. Cal, you know the data guys.
Yeah, good dudes.
My data guys, and I sat down with them this afternoon, and we looked at the early projections over at the BetSports Golf, and we had a few qualms with some of the amateurs. We said we got to look at this and adjust for this, and then we left it for like we all said we're leaving it for last. The Tiger problem. It's like, how do you price this guy? Because you haven't seen him play golf for X amount of months. Really, I mean, he played a little with his, the father-son thing that was cool, but also like he's true black swan, unicorn, whatever you want to say it. Like the guy's just in his own category doing this stuff. So like he could just, I mean, they say his swing looks good. If he's not getting tired, if his leg isn't like fucked up, he may compete. I think that's a very, very low probability. I don't believe it. Just there is going to be rust. This field is amazing. This course is impossible. It's difficult, but like, how do you price that? So I'm just like, fuck it.
I give him
in the middle.
I give him 0.5%.
That's generous. I just don't.
200 to 1.
Like,
I bet 201 to 1. Yeah.
It's a hard ask. That I mean, we've all heard this thing, you know, walking that course up and down. It's just, I don't see it. You know, with Tiger, if you want to play Tiger, like I love Tiger. I still watch his old stuff. Don't take that the wrong way, but if you want to play Tiger, don't take him in DFS. Like what's his range in DFS? Like 8.7, 8.5.
He was 85 at DraftKings. That's stupid.
Can't.
Wow.
Right. I mean, who's above one above him? List. Who's like, you don't take Tiger. You make Tiger a FOMO bet, a fun one, some beer money. Like don't put $100 on Tiger to win the Masters. Just make a FOMO bet and go from there. And that's talking Tiger.
That's the only bet I've really ever won on the guy was when he won his last Masters.
That's
just like too many people were just like, I'm betting him. I'm like, fuck, if he wins, I'm gonna be so pissed. So I had my guys that I had strong data behind, like 6 guys, and I put that card together. And I think there's an article out there that just says like, also I'm just betting Tiger because like I'll feel dumb, and sad.
That's a good reason.
And like, and it wasn't a very big bet, and I still at the end it was like
you had the best time ever.
It was fun.
I was not at that party. Like, no,
you weren't.
I had T2. I think was it Cantlay T2 that year. I remember getting T2.
You're the meme of the guy in the corner at the party. People don't know I bet Cantlay and he took T2.
I'm like, everyone's having fun. I'm like rooting against. Like, I found myself rooting for him anyway. So, I didn't get to that.
It didn't matter if you had money at stake. That was an all-time moment.
That's why you should make the Tiger bet. Right, just put a little money on Tiger, stay off on DFS,
or don't bet it. And if it doesn't happen, you didn't lose. And if it does, you're going to enjoy it anyway.
Yeah, organically love. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I have him a little bit better than 50-50 to make the cut by my numbers. I'm at like 58-ish%, but that's mostly because everybody always makes the damn cut here because the rules are so favorable to just get everybody in. He's one of the 30 guys you could probably pencil in, I guess. I mean, if you I gotta say,
you're like,
before moving off Tiger, though, it is a little weird talking about him here.
I want to see it. If you're talking about like putting him in a lineup,
the reason he's a unicorn, the reason you don't know how to price him is because he's been out of golf for so long because of a really, really
almost lost.
Horrific. Pretty.
And now he's out there is just gonna ship the Masters.
So just like from a DFS standpoint, it really hamstrings your lineup.
Of course,
if you're using him, if you're like a 2 lineup guy, fire off a couple in the millie.
Do you have any ownership? Way too early ownership.
It's way too early.
Well,
Corey Connors is gonna be way too.
I pulled up some stuff.
Let me ask you a little bit about your process since we're going there. I see you got a stack of papers. You wake up on Sunday before the next tournament starts and you just start printing out data to go through, or you're all handwritten at this point?
It's all hand. I'm a pen and pad kind of guy. I seriously am. I've been doing this
I'm not making fun. I got my pen and my pad right here.
Yes. I can't read it, but yeah. I'm at this point where like on Monday mornings, I know a good number and I just do a quick little number grab.
Okay.
And then I really start to go through the course and what I'm looking for a model or what type of players. But we know these guys. We know the courses. I have like a Masters card, but they're all from February and January.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
you guys got anything locked in?
2 quick questions. We'll get there. 2 quick questions for you, though, about process. My just knowing what you play and sort of the not necessarily allegiance, but just sort of sticking to certain golfers. I feel like you might rank current form, like in general, higher than say the data golf model does. Is that a fair and true statement?
100%.
Okay.
And then
Course. So course history. Are you of the mindset that it matters at some courses, it doesn't at others?
Yeah, but I will always look at recent form over course history. Like you can say great there, but
even at a place like Augusta.
Augusta is the one where you do have to look at course history, obviously. But
it's a different.
You're not playing. You're not playing good.
It's a different from every other week of the year. Really, it is. But like, and I'm glad Charlie Hoffman sucked ass last week. Like that was beautiful for the course history versus current form argument, because like, oh man, he just clicks when he gets here. It's like, yeah, we've been able to do that for a few years, but Charlie Hoffman fucking sucks.
There's a shelf date on that.
Right like, he's washed, mega washed.
Like, he's just. I mean, if he turns it around, people turn it around all the time. They switch equipment, they get a new swing coach, they fix something.
Shit,
they can run off some
PGA Championship.
Yeah, you can run off some good results, but it doesn't just turn on a dime. And we didn't hear about him making any changes. So it's like, odds are Charlie Hoffman might suck again this week, and his number was silly at some places.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're just going and picking off bad numbers, you generally are shopping at faraway places that aren't on the screen necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, I have to drive to Louisiana to make my wagers at
sure, of course, at the legal
at the Barstool Sportsbook at Nugget. That's where I was.
Right, sure.
But yeah, I mean, there's bad numbers. They put out numbers that are wrong. I mean, not this week, right? I mean, they were tight as hell, and that's always been the argument.
Well, they were up, especially early. Obviously, you saw
for
that.
Sure,
like Chris was hanging Masters for what, last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, just with any major, there's going to be odds up at a lot of places, many weeks and months in advance. But like, I mean, Chris was taking to win 100K like last week. I think maybe I'm misspoken. Maybe it's 10. There was other places that clearly were taking to win 10 like weeks ahead of time. So like Masters numbers, they're out there, and it's not just like, hey, these are fun prop bets that we're gonna put up, and you can hit them for $50 here and there. Like they'll take some money on Masters numbers ahead of time. That's fine.
They like holding on to your money. That's a good move.
Yeah.
But they're gonna do something live anyway. Might as well.
What I like to do on speaking of futures, I had a really good start of the season. Hideki, Cam, who else was in there? Whatever. So whenever I hit an outright, I'll allocate some of that money to a future, especially the Masters, because you got March in front of it. And I don't want to be squeezed for a bankroll or overextend too much. So like I have my card done by like February or March, and here I am with some numbers. I'm upside down on some look good.
What went sideways on you, out of curiosity?
Yeah.
You have a Cantlay?
DJ?
No, I got a few DJs.
Best price available DJ's got to be today, right?
I think it's like 16 was the best number I've seen.
Okay.
I went ahead and hit that again. I got Rahm at 9-1.
I thought that was going to go lower too.
I got a Cam Smith 27-1 in February. It's Scotty 30-5 in February. See, those are, but I got a Burger 45-1. What's he at? Like 55s. They just got to be going. Is that about par?
Well, I think it's pretty close. Yeah, people are holding on Burger this week for some reason. Let me ask you about Cam Smith real quick, since you brought him up. Obviously, he wins the Players. It was very impressive. He was a hot pick of a lot of the sharper bettors that I knew. All were very interested in having some Cam at the Players. And
Andy was. He called that one. He was on that.
Yeah, Andy was on that. Does winning a tournament like that warrant the market moving as much as it has moved on him for this Masters?
100%, especially the Players. I mean, he T2 Masters, right? I mean, he's just around the green magic. Winning an event like that can bring nothing but confidence, right? Just draining 10-footers. Yeah, I got him winning the Masters for sure.
What do you think of Cam Smith in this one, Andy?
Yeah, like there's some guys that has
moved correct amount, too much, not enough.
I think he's at a fair price right now. Like if I could find an 18 or 20,
no, I mean,
just like fair means like I'm not excited to bet it. Like I'd say when someone's fair, because I'm not always of the mind with outrights, and I am this way with head-to-heads. With head-to-heads, I have a fair price. and I have to bet it because I'm betting a ton of those. And that has to be a game of kind of attrition. I have to win, X amount of those to end up for the end of the month, the year, the week, and all that. But like with outrights, I don't love making like a fair price. And I know a lot of the good pro bettors do that. They say that I'd bet this guy down to here. I struggle to do that with outrights because I think there's an added layer of not only you're betting into a huge market with 150 choices sometimes, but sometimes there is just I think he wins. Like he just, even if I make it slightly negative value, it's just like, and I just think maybe in a roundabout way, I'm saying if I think he wins, the number's wrong anyway. But like when a guy is close, he's on my list. Like Cam Smith's on my list at 16. I don't care if I find an 18, I'd be pretty happy.
I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. You can just hit a winner. I mean, the price is the price. You can look at all the books; they're going to be the same. So just take who you like.
Especially at the top.
Got it right. Cam Smith was about 33-1 at one point, so he's gotten a lot shorter. And honestly, like when like sometimes a move like that, I'm just like, that's probably fair, but if anything, it's an overreaction, and you're not getting the best of the number now.
He hasn't done anything to prove otherwise. Like he's got two wins right now in the season.
The field is competitive though, man. This is as competitive
we're going
as
to
I can ever remember
golf and history. So if you like that kind of stuff, like
it's flat. The field is, the golf is flat right now. Everybody's so freaking close,
and especially at the Masters, the odds at the top of the board, you're not going to see a lot of differences from book to book. But if you are adding some of these guys in the 50 to 100 range, probably poke around a little, especially if you have a bunch and you have balances at all of them. If it's not too much trouble, like you're going to find guys that are 50 at one place and 70 at the other. I mean, take advantage of that. Like, but at the top of the board, like you're not going to see a big difference in the ROM prices across like book to book. I mean, still always encourage shopping if you have the time and the outlets, but like really where I start to really open up a million fucking tabs and start to shop is like, the guys it's like 45 to 1, and I'm like, I'd probably bet that. You open up 3 more and you get a 66. Like
no kidding. Just
I never hit outright, so it doesn't matter. But
yeah, you do. You tell me.
What about another one of your guys in Scheffler? Scheffler's had a great season.
Yeah,
otherwise, you and Scotty go way back though. I know you've been a supporter of his for a long time.
You got a rope on your hat.
Part of Ropat gang.
Me and Buddy got on. We married Scotty last year, and we just bet him every freaking tournament.
So
this year it's been very good.
Yeah, he was a lot of top tens, not a lot of titles.
No, but this year he's just shit. Like we hit him at Waste Management. You were on that one, huh, Andy?
Yeah, he went full 27 dresses last year.
It was crazy. Like I didn't even bet him. I didn't bet him outright at the API, but I got him live at 70 to 1 on like a Saturday, I think it was at Arnold. I didn't get him outright. He's a high player. He's long. He's a good putter. Like if you look up what you need to do at the Masters, it's Scotty Scheffler, right? Recent form. His history is not the greatest, is it? You guys got that in front of you?
No, his course history is not super, but in general, he's playing like the best golfer in the world right now. Wow. I think. But I will also say that some of his victories this year were the opposite of some of his close calls last year, where things just kind of fell in his lap.
That's good, and that's just golf, right? For the right balance, right?
So, is he going to get the right bounce again?
I think he's going to be playing on Sunday. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, he's just like he's too hot. Like, why would it just stop? I know that sounds easy, but. Play him. DFS, that's a different story. But yeah, throw a bet on Scotty. Why not?
Okay.
I mean,
it's the way he's playing. Like if you say you have $100, you only have 2 choices. You want John Rahm with, apparently the capability to just, I don't know, like his superpower this year is just backdooring a top 10 on Sunday. Like that doesn't do much for me.
No,
Like,
it's the same as a
he's
missed
not.
cut, right?
John Rahm is a very, very, very good golfer. He's playing at a
he breaks
super high
every
level.
model you make. He's number one. If he's number one on your model, you need to fix that because he's number one by like miles. But
the margin between him and the next guys in that next tier, though, has gotten increasingly smaller over the balance of 2022 so far.
That's what I'm saying. Like right now, if you say,
did that. Yeah.
You said you have to bet Rahm at 10 or Scotty at 16. You can't have both. That's it. You get like, I mean, it's 10 times out of 10. I'd take Scotty. Just he's just arguing.
Out of those
like
two,
he's playing better.
If I had a $100 bill and I had to pick one guy, it'd be Cam or Zal. I think at this point.
Ooh, man. We'll
get interesting. I need you to sell me that 10.
Something's different about this dude. He's gonna.
Let's go there right now. I was going to ask you a little more about what's going on with Rahm, but I think that was fairly covered. Let's talk about Will Zalatoris. Automatic top 20. Don't overthink it. But the bridesmaid syndrome feels real around him, and
it did with
obviously
Scotty too. Yeah,
I guess it's fair to say it did. Yeah, it's fair to say nowhere in the universe does the golf ball roll more pure than at Augusta on these greens. Bent grass greens, impeccably manicured, cared for in every which way.
Yes.
But it takes a couple of runs to kind of get a feel for some of the nuances, particularly when you have a shot that, approach shot that's not perfect. You kind of, it takes a little bit of experience. Course experience matters in general this week. And he doesn't have a ton of it, but when he has played here, he played quite well.
T2's
very good.
Match play. He didn't look like, some green kid out there. He looked like he was there to fucking win it, right?
Okay.
Every contest he's ever entered, like he's in it.
Okay, so I make Zal a little under 2.5%.
Yeah,
to win this. I'm negative on him at Penny. I'm negative on him at Chris. Basically everywhere.
So what's the turn up on Zal? It's putting, right?
Yeah.
He putted at the Masters. He can fix that. Like that's. Putting and golf is just so much variance. He's got the stuff. He's long, his approach, fix some stays better. You can knock down 30 and 20 footers, just work out some stuff closer in, and he's gonna get a lot of dubs.
I know another golfer, and to be fair, he was at a different part of his career where he'd won some events already and he played very well, but the knock on him was sometimes the putting was just never there. And he won the Masters last year.
Yeah, Hideki's not the best putter in the world.
Like Hideki and Zal's putting problems are not the same. I don't want to put when Zal almost whiffed on a putt, that made me nervous about. Like,
was that Farmers Insurance this year?
He hit that with the toe. Yeah. That was scary. But putting has just never been the answer here. It's something where you just take everything else, you look at it and be like, whose ceiling puts them in that, whose ceiling puts their ass in that chair in the cabin on Sunday if the putting is just okay? And there's a few guys, and then you take those guys and be like, now who's out of that group if the putting is plus? Like if they gain anything on the dance floor, based on what they do on the rest of the course, and
that's their deciding factor, right?
Yeah, they're playing this course longer this year with some of the small changes.
It
always plays a little longer because of the way they mow it. And I mean, it's going to play long, and this is a big hitter. Like, this is a guy that can play a long course. And if his putting is shit, whatever.
Scared of the spotlight. He wants it. It's a guy in the mid-30s who fits the trend of young guys winning on tour. He got T2 here. Like, it's aligned. He's going to be a star. Like,
you're not worried about – how do you feel if you are seeking your first title on PGA Tour and it is Sunday at the Masters and you have a 2-stroke lead with some absolute dogs running you down? You think he's going to get – he's got what, one win on his career and it was Korn Ferry? Is that right? Am I wrong?
Yes. No, you're right. He doesn't have –
Colorado.
Like, I want to be early on Zal. I do, because his number just gets cut in half the moment he wins. And he's going to be like Scotty. Scotty was your 25-1 guy. He starts winning. You're not going to find Scotty above 20-1 anymore. And I just want to be early on Zal. with a 37 who's got the
and Drew, just
yeah.
I mean, is there anything to that? And it's such a small sample of like, you can take all the majors ever and look at it and be like, yeah, it's difficult to get your first ever win at a major because, I mean, they're going to have tough fields. If it's US Open, for Christ's sake, it's going to be a crazy tough course.
Yeah,
if it's Augusta, you have a bunch of guys who've played it many, many more times than you if you're early in your career. But at the same time, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's really a thing. It's the same thing as when people say, I don't really like him to win this tournament because he won it last year. It's hard to go back to back. No, it's not hard to go back to back. It's hard to win any tournament ever. It's the same kind of thing. It's not hard to break your maiden at a major. It's just as hard to win at a major if you already had like win equity. I don't know if I believe in win equity totally, although Scotty, maybe Scotty breaking through and then suddenly just rattling a couple off changes the narrative on that sometimes where, maybe he was always going to, and that extra boost of confidence is something, but I tend to not worry about some of these guys that have shown the confidence we've seen on the course already, like Zal, to bet him, to win this first, people have maidened here. It's happened. It's difficult, but
I just think Zal's wired differently. He got beat by Luke List in a playoff. Brutal.
Yes, I think you need to get over that hump on a little bit smaller stage in my mind. Yeah. I mean, maybe you're cut from such a insane cloth that you can not puke walking up the 18 with knowing that you need to get a par to win a green jacket.
I would throw up if I had to tee off there. I can't imagine having a lead on Sunday.
Yeah.
I can't sell Will, Andy, and Jay Maz on a Zal one and done.
I told you I gave you full blessing on using him.
Well, we'll cross that bridge. T1, by the way, no big deal.
So now let me take a step back because we're always, we're doing a lot of fun podcast narrative-y stuff, which is the best. That's the best way to make content anyway. But the reality of the matter is Zal is priced, or at least for me, he's in the ballpark of the Spieths and the Koepkas and the Matthew Fitzpatricks of the world. If you're telling me I can only have one of those in that kind of price range, I'm definitely looking at Zal first and foremost out of those guys for various reasons, right?
The other name you mentioned is on my short list is Brooks. Gun to head. This guy has to make a 10-foot putt. I'm picking Brooks a lot. Like he's the guy I want on a 10-foot putt. And talk about focus and drive, mass big game hunter, healthy for the first time. Why not Brooks?
Are you taking that based on his word that he's healthy, or you're seeing it?
Seeing it, just seeing him. Seeing him at Waste Management is when I bet him after I saw a pretty good performance. There's been some lackluster stuff, but it's Brooks. This is why he plays. This is what he gets up for. I think Zal's cut from the same cloth. DJ, this is where he's at. Maybe smiling.
There's some 22s. I could be convinced on a Brooks one and done even, Cal, if we're gonna get to that later. But
that's he's on the short list, right?
When he smacked that guy's phone out of his hand, I think that moved him.
That was the alpha. That was the alpha energy you needed.
100% deserved, right?
Strokes gained alpha rating went up.
That was the right play, I think, for Brooks. Knock the phone out of the hand. This fucking guy coming up to you after a match, putting the phone on you and your girl, way in a circle, slapping the phone. Yeah, that's the right.
Yeah, I would do that. And Julian has a good point. Brooks was good in Austin. Brooks looked good in match play.
Yeah,
match play is alpha shit.
It was a big game. He wanted to go. Yeah, for sure.
No, I don't mind him at all. I mean, there's a couple. I hadn't noticed this until now, but JT was 14-1 at Chris, and suddenly he's pert near the co-favorite. That took money all afternoon.
Yeah, can you explain that to me? Because my numbers say it too, and
it's his history, and JT's game is so sweet. It is all rounded. It's the stuff you need. He needs this. I'm not gonna bet him, but what I'll probably do, I saw in some books, is they'll have a what's it called, a 2-chancer, so you can pick JT and somebody else that I might not have money on, and just get some of them that way so I don't get pelted by them. But yeah, JT's not on my radar. DFS is a different animal, but
yeah. He checks a trillion boxes.
Yeah.
He's played like his I just pulled up his history because I'm like, I swear to God, this guy hasn't even like he was 33rd at the Players. I forgot. That wasn't great. But
he was in the bad wave though, right?
Yeah, like he had the wind. Like he was the wind wave. So outside of that, you have to go back to the Open in July of last year before he was lower than 26th. Like, I mean, just 3, 6, 8, 5, 3, 4.
I got him.
He's
hanging around, but you know, without looking, how many titles does he have since the pandemics? Since the restart?
How many?
JT?
How many no cuts have there been?
Not very many.
Oh, yeah, he won the Players.
He won the Players in March of last year. That was his last victory.
He had
the St. Jude.
Hawaii too, didn't he? Sony.
He won the St. Jude again in a 5-man playoff, I think. But ultimately, like his only real impressive performance was the Saturday Sunday going nuclear on the Players last year.
Yeah, that course was fucking hard too. Like
he won.
He beat the course. He beat the shit out of an absolute golem of a course.
He rolled a 64 on Saturday that year.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since he was in the winner's circle,
but again, I have him, a top 5 ball striker, top 5 irons. He gets at par 5s, birdie or better is above average. His history, I mean, 21, 4, 12, 17, 22, 39.
6 out of 6 cuts.
That's like he's always lied. Everyone's lied, but he won't be on my card unless I
not at that price. Like I think you're right. And now that he's been bet down, I'm not betting him at 10-1 when there's other guys.
No, you might as well take Rom for $1 less or whatever he's at.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. But I mean, you're right. He's just gonna check a trillion boxes for everybody. He has the history, he has the pedigree, he has the win equity, he has the ball striking, he has just the consistency. He doesn't have the blow up factor. Like he's not going to
spaz out on you and
he just doesn't have that blow up where like one ball in the water on Friday isn't going to just put this guy's mind in a bad place. And he's got to now that Eldrick's there, he has to play well in front of his guy.
Y'all buying into that? The shadow of Tiger taking off a bunch of pressure off some of these guys.
You go read go look at like golf.com or Golf Digest or anything. There's not many articles that like every year he's like, oh, is Rory going to, is Rory going to get a slam? It's like, we aren't talking about that this year. We're talking about Tiger hitting a few shots out of the sand on a Monday. Like those guys, that pressure, if that's in Rory's head, if that's in JT's head, it hasn't gone anywhere.
I'm going
the media. The media isn't going to exacerbate it. Like just because they're not getting hammered with these questions like they do some years because
that's true.
Everybody's so worried about this thing.
Andy, I'm going Oppo in this.
Yeah.
If you are getting hammered with questions on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday about the event, right? That toughens you up, man. That gets you ready for a Sunday with the lead. Like now you've already answered these questions about how big this moment is. Now all of a sudden, like you haven't answered those questions and it comes around. Now you got to answer Saturday night. Like, how big is this moment? You're like, God, it's fucking big. I haven't even really thought about this week.
I'm writing this tape down.
Like I honestly, I think the Tiger shadow is going to make a likelihood of one of the mental cases potentially, rear its ugly head on Sunday. That'd be my prediction.
Rory's just been so close so many times.
I don't like seeing Willie Mays balling in that outfield. I don't like seeing boxers I love get just pummeled. And I'm not trying to see Tiger in a Masters like struggling to make it and putting up a big old number. But him going up there,
I don't think
never going to underestimate him. Again, I was not in the Tiger era of.
He makes the cut. He flirts with the top 40. I think that's about where this plays out. And then maybe he does something and isn't where's the Open? The Open's somewhere good. He might have
St. Andrews.
have his legs under him, right?
Oh, is it?
That'd be good.
I'm pretty sure Julian would know the answer to this.
I'm pretty sure it is.
No,
Yeah.
Dan's probably Googling it right now. Dan already knows. It's
Yeah.
St. Andrews, right?
It is St. Andrews, I believe.
Yeah, St. Andrews.
Of course.
Yeah. So that would be kind of, if you wanted to really make the story of he's back and he's competing for a major, I think that's what you're looking at.
Can I ask a question? Morikawa?
I mean, we all agree he ultimately wins one of these.
For sure.
It's just a matter of which year, right?
I have not heard his name a lot.
No one's mentioning him. And again, Julian, food snob from the chat, I think he was the one who brought this up a little bit ago. Morigod said Morigod, another non-putter that fits the mold here. Because his ball striking. Yeah, it's you want to do the Zal thing, you do it with Morikawa. If you want to, with Matsuyama, it's like, hey, sometimes the putting isn't great, but his ceiling on irons is, Jesus Christ. Like the floor is the ceiling. Like that guy can just put the ball wherever if the greens are playing nice and receptive and he's putting himself in nice positions, that guy's good. You might not need to putt. And that's the main thing about the putting here is it doesn't have to be a guy who's putting above expectation that week. Sometimes it's a guy who's putting his ball a lot closer to the hole than expectation, and the putting doesn't have to be as good. Like sometimes it's just a guy that is just finding those second shots, and it's like it's not like he sunk a 39-footer because he didn't have to. Like he's just draining 8 and 10 footers all week because it's pure greens. And like Morikawa could be like, fuck, he didn't have a tough putt for 3 days. Like, what are we doing here? He's leading by 2.
That's how he won the Open.
Yeah,
that's basically how it played out. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, how do you look at I didn't see much of him at the match play. I saw he was up and down, like nothing. Did he do good at that?
It didn't look like he was really there to try to ship. He was just kind of getting some rips.
Yeah, working out the bugs.
Yeah, I think so. Funny couple, and JetBlue Amigo brings this up. Data golf is like weirdly cold on Morikawa always. Especially, I noticed this just relative to my numbers. Similar with JT, like they're at 1 on JT. I'm not there.
I got him at 2. Like
you're at 2. No.
I got him on like the top 2 guys. On top 3 or 4 or 5 guys, I'm not gonna bet. Rory, some of these guys just fuck up your models, right? Like. Not betting Rory.
Let's pretend that I'm learning and I'm using the data golf simulation here. You brought up putting a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Should I set the putter in my customization to 0 or 1? Because he goes from 0 to 100, right? Sounds like you're low on putting.
I'm low on it, but I would definitely have Bermuda as something that you need with putting. Good Bermuda putters.
Interesting.
Yeah, like that's grass, man. Love it. I'm looking here. Cantlay is a killer on Bermuda. Rory slays. Scott. What's Scott at? 65-1.
You can say Sammy Burns.
Correct. No, it's me, Sammy Burns, from the stuff I put in.
Yeah.
Just
his price is off right now.
Way above average, of course, but he didn't. Yeah, he's not a solo digit guy.
You know how we do this with the NFL, Drew, where it's like we have our numbers and then we go through a few things. You put a projection on a game. You look at a few other things. You throw in the injuries. We say we think the market is overreacting to this or underreacting to that. And then there's one thing like that. And it's like, this has given me that extra tiny little nudge. Like if a guy has putted well here before or putted on, purish greens like this in the past, like that's just a tiny nudge. Like it's hard to like really use it as a deciding factor. But if it's a guy I already like or I'm on the fence, it's like, and he putts for shit. It's tough unless it's a guy like we said who has just a fucking transcendent irons game. Like they have to have, a Maury irons game or a ball striking like Zal for me to forgive something like that. It's a sum of the parts for sure, and really putting is such a small part of the sum. Ooh, should write that. That should cross stitch that. Put that on the wall.
Well, so of the 5 categories of strokes gained that are available publicly. Putting last, 5th out of 5.
Yeah.
Around the green,
Much
4th
variance
out of 5.
Say it again.
Around the green, 4th out of 5.
Depending on the track, but yeah, it's ball striking. It's
driving accuracy, 3rd out of 5.
Driving accuracy, good drives. Accuracy with distance.
Okay. Driving distance, 2 out of 5, and then strokes gained approach, the number 1 killer.
Ball striking. Ball striking.
So just looking at those big categories, it's tough to Drew because you know what's number 2 for real? It's putting. Putting's number 2 behind approach every single tournament.
Right. But it's birdie or better, right?
I'm talking about
here, stay with me, guys.
Sure.
This is after the fact. Like it's always after the fact. Like in using it as a descriptive stat, putting is always going to be second. Like of course, whoever was able to do that, it's usually behind approach as far as the people who are near the top of the leaderboard. But as far as a forward-facing one, it's like Cal said, 5 out of 5, not even close. And it's just all ball striking, getting there, finding the journey to the green. So it's tough because as much as we say, like, you can't use putting in a predictive sense, you still have to find a guy who has and again, it's a comparative stat. So it might not even be like, oh, he putted his tits off this week. Like, that Phil's not here. So I guess.
Yes. Lefty taking the weekend off, Andy.
If he it doesn't have to be somebody who putted like nuts. It's comparative to the field. If the putting was tough and he just managed, sometimes the rest of the game's enough there and he was okay. Yeah. So like looking forward, like Cal says, ball strikers first and foremost.
Okay. Course managers. Let's go beyond the data golf.
Yes.
Let's say I have proprietary kind of rankings on.
I know on the putting, I do put a lot of weight on birdies or better, which I put that is probably my top 3. Like stuff, birdies or better. That's what you look at instead of putting, in my opinion.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's scoring. Like it's scoring rather than
guys get low. Yeah.
Rather than did you putt a little better from this distance compared to somebody else on those holes? Like, no, it's a sum of the parts stat where did you play the hole smart, put yourself in a position to find a birdie or better and score? Like, because in the end, they don't award they do visa in a roundabout way. They don't give someone a trophy for having a good SG. It's going to be that score at the end. So like the birdie, like Cal says, scoring is maybe more predictive than a lot of the SG stuff.
Okay. I feel like that kind of comes into play with course management, with experience. I mean, that's why a guy like Zal is never going to really pop for me here. Like this is second time playing this course.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's, he may run pure, he may run good. It may be his time, and that would be awesome. I would be happy.
Yeah, it's hard to pick a winner, but the trends right now are young guys, right? They've been crushing the tour. He's young. He's young. Like he's 35, 37 where he's shot. That's a really live bet. Like considering with all these stale top end guys, we're probably gonna win. But if you want to make that's a good live wager in my opinion.
I just can't imagine living in a world, going home, getting my truck, firing it up, walking in the front door, looking my children in the face and saying, I bet Xander Schauffele at 22-1 when there's a 36-1 on Zal. Like that's not a life I can live. Like I'm with you there. There's some guys up top that they're trading a little on their names.
What happened to Xander? His game's just slipped recently?
I don't know what it is. Like everything I type in says this guy's gonna win soon. Doesn't happen. But
short game stuff. He just hasn't had a good
betting in DFS is so different. Don't look at him in betting, love him in DFS. You know what I mean? Like, it's really opposite like that. Whoever you like to bet, there's no chalk and you're outright. So that doesn't matter. But yeah, DFS, Xander should be on your radar. I think.
I bet him at Waste Management. He was right there. Like it was just that's the thing about you talk about these guys, they have to play well. And you talked about Scotty's luck going the wrong way for a while, and then his luck went the right way. sometimes that's the deal. Like Xander played.
Yeah.
Probably it's remember the Memphis game against Gonzaga? Like that squad beats a lot of teams that day.
Yeah,
they weren't
were
beating the
wrong.
Zags. It's like Xander Schauffele played well enough to win the Waste Management, which is not like some premier tournament, but he played well enough to win a tour event. Just a couple guys out, peaked him or whatever you want to say. Like there was a couple players that were playing a little better. And yeah, that was Scotty. So it's, Scotty was just a little closer to the sun than Xander there. And who was the other one? Was that at Waste Management?
Brooks, I think, was in there.
No, it's not. He's the American golfer of Indian descent. Wasn't he playing well at Waste Management?
Akshay.
Not Akshay. Not Akshay. Now I have to look at the Phoenix Open.
Let me ask you.
Cantlay was right up there too.
Okay, so there is some precedent for a guy coming into his first ever Masters, getting second, returning the following year, and shipping.
Oh.
It's Jordan Spieth. That was his first two Masters. Was a T2 and a 1. What do you make of Spieth at this point? Because my numbers are ice cold on him. He's competitively priced around a bunch of these guys. Like, you seen enough out of his game to have any kind of hope that he's going to be in the mix on Sunday?
Not pass the eye test one bit. Still spazzing out a little bit. Looks so uncomfortable. I don't know. I've never seen such a pro look uncomfortable in his own skin. Like talking to his caddy. Nothing against Spieth, just not now. Not recent form. Not going to be on my card. Or DFS.
Do you think you can pinpoint something?
No, I can't. I think it's just like the reason he's kind of the butt of a lot of jokes. It's just mental a lot, right? I mean, no, I can't pinpoint. He's got all the skill set. He's got all the tools, but
I'm looking at his results. So he second at the AT&T.
Yeah.
He didn't win that tournament. Maybe played well enough. He could have putted a little better to win that. That was where he had that. This is true narrative lane. He had to hit that shot right next to like the cliff where he could have died. Hasn't played well since. Hasn't played well since. Matt Rooney, he went on a trip and he's like, I went by that cliff. Like after that fact, he's like, there's no fucking way I would have hit that shot. I'm like, some guy has to mow the lawn every week. Like some guy just drives a mower right next to it every week. He's taking his life into his hands. Since then it's been rough. He's had some really bad putting performances. He played really horrible at the Players. I know a lot of context needs to be thrown into what happened there with some of the weather, but I mean, it's not
Valero. What did he finish at Valero?
He was 35th. He missed a trillion putts. Like he was getting to the green. Okay. It's like, he's kind of fixing his ball striking. And then his putting just went like,
I saw a few and it was hard to watch. Like, ooh, boy, 2 putting from 5, whatever he was doing.
That stuff sticks with you too. Like when you're 3 feet away and you lip 2 out. Like
I remember at the end of that broadcast, he was like on 18 with a little 4-footer, and the broadcaster's like, "All right, Spieth for birdie," to bring momentum into the Masters, and just fucking airballs it. And I just laugh. It's like I'm not taking that with me.
Okay, so there's another weird question I have for you, and it is, how do you price Matsuyama?
I don't think about Matsuyama.
Yeah, if you take his percentage way down, who's the beneficiary there? Like guys in that price range where we're gonna catch a little, because you run
DFS or betting?
Either one.
Either or, dealer's choice.
What's he priced at right now?
So he's 9,300 at DraftKings for
40 to 1
DFS and 40-ish. Yeah, betting.
So at
45 at Chris.
I would rather take Burns. I'd rather go to Buddy Zal, Cantlay. 40. That's not Cantlay. I don't see how you can be comfortable putting money down on Matsuyama. Whatever he did last year.
In that 40 to 50 range, I'd take Neiman, Burns.
Oh, yeah. Neiman's
50. Like Neiman at 50 over a Hideki, where man, you just at a place like this, can you really bet a guy with injury concerns?
No,
Like I put Bryson on the card in a
question
weak
mark
field.
is off is scratched. Bryson scratched. If you have a question mark, you're gone. I mean, I'm not. All these guys are the same. They're all aces.
With that chill ass music and the vibe that Jim Nantz sends off.
Oh,
I don't need to be stressing over an injured golfer that I bet.
No, and you should be extending yourself on just because it's the Masters. You know, just you don't want to ruin your weekend. It's the best.
Question mark, yeah. Out. If you
question
mark, he's out.
You brought up Neiman, who of course was our Riviera winner. A lot of people draw parallels between Riviera and Augusta.
Good comp.
Maybe it's a good fair comp. Neiman, what have you seen good or bad from him since Riv? And do you think he basically carries that one win in his back pocket into this tournament and gives him a shot?
I personally don't see him putting on the jacket. I will bet him because the odds are there, the skill set's there. He can get hot. What, he go wire to wire at Riv?
Yes.
Yeah, I know I had him first round leader. I mean, he just it was over like Friday, right? I guess he got a little sweaty Sunday.
Yeah, he struggled on Sunday and gave a lot back, but the lead was enough that it wasn't really sweat.
It's worth a bet. Like, I'd rather take Neiman than some of the higher chalk. He might be live. He kind of reminds me of Tiger in a way with the stingers, his length around the greens. He can get hot. That guy gets low as shit. So
his putting is kind of stunk. For I don't know, let's say like 6. It's weird with the wraparound season because like how much stock do you put into like Zozo and Mayakoba and even and no offense, but the Houston Open, like some of that stuff, it's weird to put context to it, but like his putting hasn't been great, and we've still seen some good results. Like when his putting went positive, he got 6th at the Farmers, and he won the Genesis. Like
it smokes, it gets low.
Yeah, like all he needs to do is have basically, like baseline or better putting, and he's competing in a lot of these places. And obviously, nasty course, nasty field, but 50 to 1, he's boy, Cal's talking me into a lot of shit. It's gonna be
I mean, I'm kind of talking myself out of him now.
Okay.
He's middle of the pack on
for me.
Bermuda.
Just for clarity, because I did read a pretty outstanding preview over at Bettsburg's Golf. This is a bentgrass course. Does that matter? Are Bermuda and bentgrass especially different?
Yes.
It's gonna putt pure. Like it's just gonna putt pure. Like people who
it's a different grass, right?
Yeah, but bentgrass is so. I haven't fully grasped this because I don't understand how they make this work down south. Like I guess
everything else in the south is Bermuda.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like bentgrass is like what we have up here because it's cold. Our golf courses are only open for like 3.5 months a year. But I mean, obviously they know what they're doing. It takes away some of the grain that you would see in Bermuda. But I mean, just guys who can putt in general. At any part of this swing, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Okay. How about some of the guys way down the list, either to make noise as a first round leader or really be in the mix beyond the aces we talked about at the top? Anyone that you're especially warm on?
I kind of like Homa. I got Homa and Kisner. I got early.
Kisner. Ooh.
Yeah, and that was just lucky. I bet him probably in February, and he's in form, right? He's there to cut a big check. I'm not gonna. That's more DFS stuff. Like I don't think I can bet lower than Burns.
Burns is about as low as you would go, and
about
he's
40,
what is he at? 40ish now? 45.
I think I got him at 45.
44, Chris, right now. Yeah, you probably find a 45, maybe 50 if you hunt.
Oh, Penny is holding hanging 54.96 for your boy Burns. They want that Burns.
He's young, long, rolls the rock. fits kind of like the current 2020 skill set, and I like the kids. I'm not trying to pick any of these old heads.
Andy, what's your read on who's hanging best price and whether that means anything nowadays across the golf shop?
So
you care at all?
Sometimes, like if Chris or Pinnacle are considerably lower on somebody I like, and he's like, let's say you find last week it was Brendan Steele. He was okay. He didn't compete, but like the guy got beat up at the sharp shots, and we have a bunch of shit books hanging like 80.
Sure.
Like I'm gonna take a sniff of that. Like if he's getting bet by people in the know and some people are lagging and leaving some stuff, leaving some stuff on the table there, the scraps for me at 80-1. Like I'll bet some of that, just like almost like board cleaning or like steam chasing, what have you. But I still gotta like the guy. Like I can disagree with the market for sure and say, this is. Sharp people bet them and I can get a better number, but I still don't want it. Like, I don't think this guy can actually win.
It's your card. Like, no one, it's fucking hard. So pick the guys you like and don't ruin it by overextending or like, it's a good weekend.
Yeah, just enjoy this. Have some. Do you like pimento cheese? Is that a thing they do in Texas?
No, it's kind of hot here, so it doesn't.
Yeah. I made it last year. It's weird. We don't have it.
It's tremendous.
It's
tremendous. It's a tremendous cheese.
Like I liked it.
Grilled cheese. Like
I liked it, but a lot of it I threw away because it's like I had like 2 sandwiches and like this is good, but like I'm not going to eat this entire batch I made. Like I should have made much less. Like I need to cut the recipe in half.
So staying on this,
Vic Hovland got brought up. I want to talk Hovland.
Okay, I wanted to talk food because you brought up pimento cheese. They made a very controversial decision to take away the peach ice cream sandwiches. I think that will prove to be quite consequential for this tournament, as they currently had a clear lead as the number one best, slam or number one best major.
This is breaking news. This is
no more peach ice cream sandwiches, and also like people are saying the fact that they refuse to sell a rope hat as part of their merchandise package is really impacting Augusta negatively, and that everybody else is running down.
My own mouse.
You just make your own. Oh, okay.
Counter.
No, it says the Masters.
The Masters
of the universe.
I'm gonna swap meet Louis here. Jesus, guys. All right, Victor Hovland. I haven't heard much chatter on him either. Is he a guy we fell out of love with? Cal, what happened to he was in our stable.
Always gonna love Hove. It seems like people are rushing to bet Hove. He's never won in the States, but Zal, like I don't get the mentality. His around the green game is a problem. He's a truck though, right? I mean, he just teed a green monster.
But if he finds sand, forget about it, though.
I don't think a jacket's in his future this year, but he's close. I mean, he could be. I mean, ain't going this. I'm not going to be surprised.
His around the green is enough of a liability.
Yeah, and I'll go back to Dustin. Always, he's gotten better here every year. He looks in form. He's live, very live.
DJ.
Yeah, that's a hot take. Yeah, he's live.
I can't get anywhere close to market price on him. I don't know
how. You just might have to just.
Cal doesn't look at the price on DJ.
What's the best price? What's the best price you bet for DJ?
I have a 20, and I have a bunch of.
I can live with the 20.
Yes, I mean just like I'm not going to watch a Masters with DJ winning and not have a ticket on him. That's not in my world.
So just for the record, right now. Chris will give you best price available on JT. Interesting.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
1075 is the best price.
1403. I'm seeing.
Where are you looking at a board, or do you have the?
I was looking at a board.
Like I saw
it is beat up to 1075, Drew.
Wow.
That's what I
Jesus Christ.
referenced that earlier. It was 14 this afternoon. They got beat the shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I saw 12 this morning or this afternoon. What time was it? Yeah.
Yeah, when I woke up this morning, it was 14-ish. Like
Yeah,
probably
that's
the
what I
number
saw
you're
too.
quoting. Yeah, that wherever you're looking,
Up
they aren't
1075 about that.
they aren't drawing the updates fast enough apparently. But
Interesting.
yeah, JT right now it's hard to find a good number on him. Everybody in the market has kind of piled on him.
I will bet
You have to play with Tiger today.
I will bet you $1 that DJ shortens and Zal shortens.
Okay.
Like I'm certain. Like I think the industry are really going to pump them up, and I think those numbers shrink.
So I don't want to blame you, but Zal has shortened during the show. I'm not making this up.
What's
He was 32.
He's 2850 now. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
shit.
32 when I pulled up Bookmaker like 10 minutes
You
into the show. He was
guys
32
have
to 1.
juice.
Nice. It's usually guess.
You made the case. You sold us that pen. Okay, so let's pivot a little bit from the betting side of this and talk a little bit about the entertainment side of it. Give me your ideal featured group for Thursday. And do you what's your Masters watching experience? You sit down, take all day Thursday, all day Friday, and you're just watching. Like,
I'm actually considered
9,000 holes in golf.
I take in my golf. Eye test to me is very important in my process. And watching a guy, like I need to see him. Like, man, that guy fucking sucks, or he's got his nails. I have to see that. They don't show up in my sheets. Actually thinking about getting snipped for the Masters. Why not? Get laid up for 4 days.
Well, it's late to be playing.
Sounds pretty good. You can make an appointment, right? Like, just go in and be like, don't fuck with me for 4 days and watch every minute and soak it in. Okay. That's on the table.
So put together a featured group that is like these three guys are all guys I want to see play together. I want to gauge their form on day one. Who's your ideal? Because we don't know what the groupings are yet.
No.
We don't know who's going to be the featured group.
No.
But I always am refreshing featured group on Google just to get that information as quickly as possible. Put your best threesome together for Thursday.
I want to see Cam. I want to see Brooks and DJ. Yeah.
Cam, Brooks, DJ. Okay, that's your featured
I have
group.
a little overlap.
Andy? Who are you going, Andy?
This is just because I'd like to see these guys party a little. But Cam, Hovland, Guido.
Oh, I do have Guido as the best bent. I was saying Bermuda the whole time like a bozo. Yeah, I got Guido as the best bent grass. I don't know what that's.
My odds for Guido. My odds for Guido are infinite.
Yeah, his number is like 350.
Infinity.
No,
he's a fun make the cut top 40 kind of guy.
Clear your balance. You know, if you got like $103 in there, get that $3 out of there. Get him on Guido.
I have him as more likely to win than Sandy Lyle. And Mike Weir.
That's fair.
And Jose Maria.
I think did Sandy beat Bryson last year? Or Bryson didn't make the cut, did he? I think they tied. It was hilarious. Or no, maybe that was the year Bryson's first year at Augusta when everyone was like, he was in the woods the entire time.
Yeah, I always forget about that. Bryson used to make a big deal about how he had studied this course for like.
Oh yeah,
you remember my
hours for this thing.
Oh man!
So the fall Masters was DJ, right?
I do remember.
The fall Masters was DJ.
Yeah,
All right, so that was the year that I had the ticket where I had just started driving down to some of these Iowa casinos to check out sports books, and JD talked me into Bryson in like February maybe. I bet Bryson 40 to 1 to win that tournament. Global pandemic comes up. They moved the tournament. They pushed it to fall. By the time we get to fall, he's 12 to 1. I'm feeling pretty smart. And then he tees off. And then we're in the bushes looking for, and nobody wants to help him because nobody likes him at this point. Like, just a disaster, just a folly right away. So he's kind of dead to me here after. Yeah. And then also the Greens books thing. Like, Bryson is an absolute no bet. Maybe a weird pivot in DFS, but his ownership in my pool is going to be fairly low this week. But Christ, I don't even remember what we were talking about at this point now. The DJ,
DJ, and that
the Guido. Oh, the Guido. Oh no, we were talking Guido. You talked Sandy Lyle. This was the other thing too. Was I looked at some of these older guys. I'm like, God, who's the oldest player that's going to be playing this week? And I look, and who is it?
Sandy.
Is it Mize?
You guys haven't hit it yet.
Tiger.
I think it might be Sandy Lyle, but
Yes.
Bernard Langer is damn close.
Oh no, that's what it was. It was Langer who tied DeChambeau that one year, where it was just an effing disaster.
Langer is usually a top old guy.
Yeah, it's so fun to watch.
I think
fenders, and he's just par. He's good stuff.
They're both 64, and it looks like Langer is younger by a few months, but
that's a rough looking 64. That's a good.
This guy's made the cut like 6 out of the last 10 years, though.
Yeah.
Like he just makes the weekend because he still has the juice. Like you can't just take some of these old heads or amateurs and be like, they're gone for the weekend. Like, an amateur makes the cut sometimes, and some of these old dudes end up on the weekend. Larry Mize isn't around Saturday, though. Let's be clear.
No. Very much not. No. Sandy Lyle, similarly.
What else we got?
Well, DFS. Build me a player pool. Tell me what to do.
Not even build me a player pool, but like,
you don't have to do that.
Who's the nuts in the Millie Maker? Like, who's the?
I need the percentages.
Who's the
percentages on that?
Who's the super low ownership guy that makes a run for top 20?
I think
hits roughly 9 birdies. Maybe 10.
I think Burns.
Nobody's
there. Burns will probably come in about 10%. He's going to get low. I think. I'm seeing Dustin at 10%. That can't be right. These numbers are too early.
The numbers are garbage right now.
I think the values are going to be in the 6s, and I think you're going to make money in the 7s. So like. Shoot, I don't know. An answer, a Thomas Peters.
Of course, you said answer.
An answer Peters. Like these are better. What's answer?
Peters. Oh my God, Peters.
No, he's long. He's perfect here.
He's 66.
This is DFS. Like
right.
He's not getting any of my money, but if he makes the cut and does his stuff, answer's really interesting actually.
Couple of gross 6,000s that I'll probably have filling out more lineups than I hope. Lucas Glover, Sepp Straka, like those guys are like 64.
Hit Straka this year. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean those guys are gonna find their way to the green, and hopefully shit goes okay. Like that they have big chunks. Like Glover isn't gonna hit the ball very far. Sepp Straka actually has some distance. Like Sepp Straka is probably gonna be a little heavier than I'd like. He's going to be in the player pool, and he's cheap as shit. Like he's playing well.
Yeah, he hits long and straight and stuff you need here. And you can't really do much without the ownership. Like DFS is it's just ownership driven. Like a little tip on DFS when you're doing optimizers or whatever you're doing, you can have chalk, right? You can take Scotty at 30% or whatever he ends up. That's great. 20%. Just your team has to be unique. And I tell Andy and whoever listens this, like, set your team ownership like at 80%. And you can pick whoever you want at the top and just try to find those guys that can make the cut, and you got yourself a chance. 80% is the magic number.
There's good chalk and there's bad chalk. Like if a guy's
100%.
chalky, if a guy's chalky, but you believe it's correct, you need to ride with the field. If he's in 30% of lineups and he fucking T2s, you need him in your lineup.
Yes.
You have to have that unique other 5, and that's where so much of building around a good chalk comes in with the Sepp Strakas of the world. And you have to.
Yes, you should never submit a lineup and be like, "Whew, that's the one comfortable." You should always hate your lineup. Be like, "God damn, this guy's." That's how I always go into it, and it's worked out okay. Trying to see who else in the 6K. I don't even think I'll go in the 6K, to be honest with you.
Talk me out of
Mackenzie
Hughes. Mackenzie Hughes was one. He's got 2 former starts. One was an amateur. One he did not make the cut then. That was like 2017. He made it last year. He was top 40.
Hughes. Man, he's got to be in the 100 range.
Yeah, he's way down. Yeah,
6,300
bucks. Yeah,
he's
same price as Danny Willett, and a little cheaper than amateur Nakajima. Okay,
Nakajima is getting some juice this week. I don't know why.
No, thank you.
Like in 63, I think I'd rather take. He's at 63. I'd rather take Guido. I'd rather take Cameron Champ. He's long, right? Seb, like you said.
Okay.
Yeah, Hughes is a weird breakdown. Like he gained a bunch putting at the Valspar, still didn't make the cut. Like
he can have some 30-footers on you. Like that's
he can have some bad, and that's where I like Straka, because Straka has the game. It's not like high end ball striker, but he's okay. And then he can just go nuclear out of putting green sometimes, and that's what
sure.
he won. Like he won a tournament.
Low. And do you like recent form? I would say he checks that box, right?
I would say so.
Yeah,
he's up there.
Yeah.
Longer shots too. Like, what do you think of Bezzy, Mr. Bezudenhout?
I'm always a Bez guy. To me, he's built for these major courses. Like he does the right things.
I saw a handwritten note that said he does not like shooting on angled fairways.
Well, I could see that. Not going to bet him, but for DFS purposes, he's probably priced a little lower than he should be.
I like that note. I kind of want to look at how he did off the fairways at TPC San Antonio, because those are really angly at some points.
Yeah, Drew. I mean,
he made the cut.
He does not have the shots. He can't. He's not a big shot maker hitting angles.
He's more of a cut maker. Like the guy finishes 35th.
Yeah,
has like a weird bogey free round where it's like he has 17 pars and a birdie, and ends up scoring some points for you.
Yeah. That's kind of a gem. I have these whack numbers, 5%. He's not losing off the tee, a little off on approach, around the green. Like he's just very solid. He's not going to screw you. That's a DFS play. You can be like, I'm good with that. He's going to make the cut, maybe a run.
How about a DFS play that is going to screw you, like Bubba Watson?
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to include him this week. He's going to be a darling because he's
I kind of feel like it's going to be Connors.
You think Connors is going to be the
chalkiest player, and I think he will fail.
I love it.
That's
Andy,
my
do you
hot take.
predict this chalk?
I think what's he priced at? I mean, he's cheap, and everyone knows he's a name. People know.
Connors is 76. He is in the Paul Casey, Tommy Fleetwood, Matthew Fitzpatrick range.
Sorry. Yeah. So
I think you'll see a lot of Bryson, even at the injury, like he's still just a big enough name where people are gonna look at that. Oh man, Scotty's 11, Rory's 10. You got Bryson at 9,100. Maybe that's value where it's like, maybe I could interest you in a Zal for $100 more, or an Usti for 200 less, or even Shane Lowry at 88. Like those are very good substitutes for using Bryson and watching him just like get confused when he gets to the greens.
Yeah, no, it's going to be it's a rake-free DK because you're going to have people putting in Tiger and Bryson. Like there's a lot of dead money out there.
So do you agree Watson's going to be mega chalk?
I think he will be chalk because people just love course history. He did play okay. I like Bubba, right? Left-handed golf course and all that stuff, but no, I'm sticking with the trends of young guys. Playing well. That's just how I'm going to do it.
How about just more of a price thing? And I hate this guy sometimes, although I cheered for him when he did do well here. Sergio's 78, and his form is not horrible.
No,
he's had some decent putting. Like his
Machismo in Austin, he was fired up. He was not laying down for anybody.
He's giving him the horns, hook 'em horns. Dan knows,
like wearing six shades. I mean, Sergio. This is where we talk about course history. Sergio's gonna be okay here.
All right, he's on my list. My player pool just got so big.
I mean, it needs to be like what are you entering?
More tournaments. I have to enter more just because I made too many lineups now in my head.
Like contest wise, like field size and stuff, because that's important.
I don't know. Like that's a big part of it, and that's where I suck at this because I probably enter the wrong contest.
Millionaire maker, any field over 20, 30,000, I'm not going to be in it. I mean, I have to put 20 in the Millie Maker because I always do it, and if I don't put one in there, I'm going to hate myself.
I got one more process question for you, Cal.
Sure.
let's say that I'm in like a group of 4 and we have to like debate who we're going to enter in the one and done every week. And let's say that there's one person in that group who's like especially like engaged and like gets their way every time. And you know that like and that person has to make a case this week. Like, how does that process go of who to pick for a one and done?
Drew, just clarifying this.
Sure.
I mean, I'm having trouble imagining.
Yeah, would you say this person's like a big pain in the ass for everyone else? And they.
But what if the pain in the ass is right a lot?
Yeah, well, yeah, right. It's with the yeah.
I wanted Luke List.
Double-edged sword. But yeah, like what would that person do to kind of really win over their their competitors this week in the one and done, and where are they going?
To me, you have to make an argument for somebody. You can't just say a bunch of names. Everyone can list off names. You pick a guy, you make a solid argument for him. Okay. Someone, tears apart that argument or makes a better argument, and then you go from there. Like our process last week was stupid. Then we finally figured it out. We're Spieth or Bryson. We were just about to coin flip it on Spieth or Bryson. Then we're like, yeah, let's hang on here. Let's just cross out all the question marks. Matsui, that worked out pretty well, right? WD?
Yeah. We crossed off a lot of guys who missed the cut.
So what did we do? We threw out a young hotshot and Mito, and he T10, right?
Yeah, he's got T10. Oh, wow.
T12. He made a run for the money. We had him all we were all Mito'd up last week.
Yeah, he finished T13, which was a chop on the top 10 if you bet that, because nice. eight was the position before that. So he did good. And yeah, like Luke List was my guy, but like that was more of a joke thing.
Will was trying to sell him too.
Yeah, I didn't think I was actually going to make that stick.
Did I make a big stink about Mito?
No. I think we found our way.
I made a logical argument for Mito.
I was there.
Okay. What do we think?
Who's the one? If you're in a really because this is a different, and this, it's like you brought up the contest thing. Like you need different strategies in different DFS contests.
Yes.
Playing 50-50s, that's not the same as entering 150 lineups into a contest. Same thing goes with one and done. It's just like bracket talk. Mm-hmm. Like if you're in a 20-person league with your friends, you need some chalk because you just need to beat them. Mm-hmm. Like if you're in a 1,000,000-person league on ESPN, you need to get buck-ass wild to find your way into the top 0.1%.
Yeah.
Same thing with this one. So let's say you're in a one and done with a shitload of people.
Yeah.
How wild are you going here?
Mayo's Cup's going on right now. That's a bunch of people.
That's what I'm saying. How wild do you go here?
No, this is safe. You don't do anything crazy here. This is where you play your aces and kings, your face cards. You don't need to throw away, spend a jack, a burger.
Even though making the cut is relatively.
Yeah, it's the payday. Like you need some chalk. You need like safe.
Okay.
I would say
I'm just getting ahead of the conversation for when I had.
Well, I'm just saying that now, so we're gonna play Zal. I'll find a way for us to play. we used up Cam Smith at the players, so that's a problem. Man, that took us way up. Cam at the players.
He won the players. I don't know if you remember that.
We had Berger in the tournament where he gave it away at the end too.
Oh gosh, and we
went so close to.
I fought to get Berger. I don't remember if you remember that, but we almost didn't go there, and we finally just said F it, and he was wire to wire until
the wire.
Until the 7th hole on Sunday. Then it was agreed with Julian. Rahm might be a good spot at the U.S. Open. I think we've used him. I'm not telling you everything though. We can't divulge secrets. We don't show.
I agree. Safe. It's a good
when you're in a pool, like be it a one and done or a bracket, whatever, and you're up against really sharp competitors. You just need a little run good. You need things to break your way. And then the next thing you know, Kansas is in
1,000. Like we're in a very sharp. We're in the 1K one and done. It's a bunch of sharks. These guys are good.
Smart guys, yeah, good players.
If you're down, you're not going to catch up. taking one of the top guys. You need to get a little riskier if you're down at the bottom, right? So I keep saying the name, but Zalatoris.
When was Zalhoun's last miscut?
We call him Calatoris.
No, Zalatoris.
Cal hates that.
It really rolls off the tongue, though, right?
Zalhoun. I think I came up with
Zalhoun. Yeah, is what he prefers.
Thank you. Yes. What else? What else we got? The game started?
No, we're getting close though. I
We
can't.
got about 25 minutes, so yeah, we'll probably.
If you had a free roll with 50, if you had a free roll at 50K for the Jayhawks tonight, would you hedge?
Yeah,
at least
really?
4.5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
You're shooting for the middle on 4.5. You think that's plus EV play on North Carolina?
I mean, just having.
I mean, you're playing house money, so.
Like, yeah, it's not yours. Like,
the fact that you can't go red tonight, I'd shoot for a middle with a little bit.
Interesting.
But
I'm surprised at both of your answers.
Well, I know because I never hedge, but like my wife would always be to like get some out to other people.
Yeah, free roll shooting for the middle here. Although it's,
I wouldn't personally, but
it's kind of a high.
It is shooting for middle to a degree though, because it's like the money line would imply I got 60% equity in a $50,000 payday. So it's if I do nothing and they don't win, I've left money on the table. Surely.
Yeah,
so it's not really
I don't think I would.
I can't lose, but
I wouldn't, but I would tell people to. If that makes sense.
I never hedge. I wouldn't mind a middle, but again, it's a high total, smaller spread. Full disclosure, I took some 4.5. I think that's the right play.
You did. You took some 4.5.
A little bit, just kind of. Again, I'm not going to not bet the national title game.
Yeah, I laid the points. I'm trying to ride Wales wave and just good vibes. Yeah, I'm not getting crazy on it. I had a pretty decent March. Not like we did in 19, but yeah.
If Armando's ankle's fucked, like the 4.5 is never in doubt. I can just not watch the second half because Kansas is getting everything they want in the lane, and you win by 25. So, like,
they're
it's probably more of a high variance game where I should have just taken the money line, but 4.5 is what I have.
Did you get 4.5?
I laid 4.
It was like this morning 4.5 was kind of all over. Like it kind of went the other way. Yeah, the reports aren't great.
On what?
What Charles call him? Baccarat.
Baycott.
Yeah,
Baycott not looking great.
Yeah, we'll see. Shoot the kid up. Have his parents sign a waiver. Shoot him up with some drugs. Get him out there. It's a fucking title game, boys.
Such a bummer, man. Jeez.
It is a bummer for Nova. Happened to Nova too. They had a kid
That's
out.
True. That was my last feature. Just
everything's coming up, Jayhawks.
You were right. You called it. Not a ratchet bracket over there.
No, it was not ratchet.
It was for a while for me.
Oh, I let you know
my first couple rounds. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that was my strategy actually, because like I figured like everybody's smart and they're gonna know the right chalk to pick. So I was trying to swim upstream on anything that wasn't like I had high conviction was going to get to the Sweet 16. So I threw away a lot of garbage picks early on some pretty bad teams.
There was a moment where Houston was looking like a very, very
live for a title. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So final pick, the Masters with Calhoun. We are all cheering for the kid to get his first ever PGA Championship put on the jacket.
Why not him?
Why not him? Why not now?
Yeah.
It's a path. It's the first chapter for the Zal story. He's gonna be special.
Absolutely.
I'm getting a question over in the Slack chat about the Minnesota Gophers, Minnesota State. He called them the Minnesota State Stompers. That is a Frozen Four semifinal. 2 Minnesota teams going at it. I think that's later this week. Dan would know. He follows the college hockey a little. Maybe he gave up once Quinnipiac got Michigan out, but yeah, this is it is a big rivalry because Mankato State, now it's called Minnesota State, is a tiny little garbage school in a weird mid-sized town that somehow has a powerhouse Division I hockey school. And for sure, I'll be watching Frozen Four. The only college hockey games I'll watch all year will be these final two. I did catch some Gophers earlier, so well, it is a good weekend. We got Drew. We haven't even talked. There's a really good UFC event this weekend.
It's awesome.
There's baseball starting next week. There's the play-in tournament for the NBA next Tuesday.
And Cal, maybe next year, Brinson will take you to the Masters. You'll get that chance next year. You may get the invite. It would be cool. We're all hoping for it. But it's a CBS property, not an NBC property. So
out of our hands.
My hands are tied.
Like, no offense, Drew, to the NBC, but thank God the golf is on CBS. And NBC has done some great things over the years. Seinfeld is a staple of comedy culture, but for Christ's sakes, they can't cover golf. We'll leave it at
that. It's torture. Jeez.
Do something.
It's a journey, guys.
It's almost admirable how little they care. It's like it's like we don't care. Deal with it. And we're like, I guess so. Here we are.
They'll get fixed eventually.
Hello, friends. All right.
If they knew, I would pay $10 to watch my guy for the whole day, pay-per-view.
Okay,
like that kind of sicko.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to take Zalatoris in the Calcutta tomorrow for our guy Zalatoris. And
now he's gonna get bid up because he said it.
Well, no, nobody's watching. But nobody that's you're doing the
I'll be fast.
You're doing the auctioneering. Just close.
Well, once, going twice.
Yeah. When Zalatoris 8,300.
Go.
Sold.
Drew got him. He was quick. Nobody wanted him.
Nobody wanted Zalatoris. This is weird. Nobody believes in the kid. All right, I'll put that one in the queue for you as an honorary pick. Our great guest. You can find him on Twitter at Calhoun Link. You can find him at your local poker room. Taking down anyone who walks in with looking for a chance to win.
For sure, Charles. I'm at the track sometimes. Yeah, hang out the river boats and Lake Chuck pool halls. Right, man. I'm around.
Well, take it easy on them. We'll see you next time. Appreciate all your insight and best of luck at the Masters, friends.
Hey, good luck tonight, guy. Happy birthday, bro.
Cal's bouncing.
You think he bounced?
He's got a hot date.
Well,
I liked his setup though with the map room. Like that was real. That was not a green screen. He's like has an actual map room.